So that's why I'm not big on Ayuk. Now, Ayuk could have a game where he has 16 points, but I'm telling you right now, in 4 weeks, he has not shown me anything that would make me believe he's going to get more than 5 points, especially because Debo's healthy and Jennings is obviously turned in from like a 3 or a 4 to a 1 or a 2. He had a big week 2 weeks ago. Last week, he had a decent week as well. So I think Purdy's going to throw to those two even before Ayuk. Now let's look at Downs real quick because that's who I'm thinking about. But he had one good week. But here's the thing. Okay, this is why I have this up. Joe Flacco is going to start for Indianapolis, and Josh Downs had a huge week last week. I'm just reading. Okay, Downs' skills likely mesh better with Joe Flacco, so I would go Downs for Indianapolis because of Flacco. Okay, that would be my guess on that. I know Diddy Warrior, I took a long way. Jared, thanks for joining. www.mma whatever. Thanks for joining. Chuba or Wilson at flex? You're talking about Garrett Wilson? Good Lord, Garrett Wilson. I have him on one of my teams. I think I almost dropped him this week. I would go Chuba only because of the last 2 weeks, Ahmed. I don't. Again, this is one of those things. I don't see Garrett Wilson giving you more than 11 points. I see Chuba possibly giving you 15 points. He's had close to 20 the last 2 weeks, so that's why I would go with him. All right, Kevin Chen, Stevenson, Brian Thomas, or Dontavian Wicks at flex. I'm not a fan of Stevenson because there was talk that he wasn't even going to start for New England. I just looked up Brian Thomas, and I sort of ruled him out. Why did I do that again? I'm trying to take notes tonight. I need to go back and watch my videos and remember these things. Okay, Brian Thomas might not be a bad play. Let me look up Wicks real quick. I've been pretty high on Wicks lately. Okay, now with Wicks, he's with Green Bay. They play the LA Rams. The Rams have a very bad defense. I'm leaning towards Wicks, but you could play Thomas. You could play Brian Thomas if you wanted to, if you got a change of heart or someone convinced you otherwise. But I would go with Dontavian Wicks because of the matchup alone, if that makes sense. All right. Chuba or Wilson at flex? I answered that, right? Chuba. I think he's going to do all right. All right. Linton. Wicks or Downs? Oh, that's a good question. Wicks or Downs? I would say Downs only because, and let me double check on this. I know I'm scrolling fast, guys. I apologize. Let's just look at Wicks in Green Bay is what? Yeah, he's the third receiver, but Watson's probably out, so he's the number 2. And Downs with Indy. Let me just make this bigger. Okay. I'll try to put it in the screen. Yeah, Downs is a number 2. So they're both number 2. But I think from what I'm hearing, Downs is a better tandem, if you will, or duo with Joe Flacco at quarterback. So I would go with Downs over Wicks. They're both number 2s, essentially. All right. I just wanted to check that out. All right. What else do we have? Yes, Linton. I think he's going to do all right. Brian Robinson Jr. or James Conner? Well, Arizona has San Francisco. San Francisco's not bad. Let me look up Robinson Jr. Bryce J.E. Okay. Oh, well, it'd be good if I could spell his name right. Brian Robinson Jr. I mean, he's put up 16, 14, 10, 18 points. You can almost pencil him in, probably conservatively speaking, 10 to 14. That's Robinson Jr. Okay, did I just lose? Oh, no, I didn't yet. Okay, so Bryce, right now, I'm thinking Robinson Jr., but let me look up Connor just real quick. They put up about the same points. The only thing about it is Connor laid an egg 2 weeks ago. They play San Francisco. I would go with Brian Robinson. But Bryce, here's the thing, okay? And I say this sometimes, and maybe this is the way I save my own butt sometimes, but I would say in this regard, we're talking about like the pick between Robinson and Connor is like I'm just making this up, a number, but it's like I would give like Robinson like an 8.5, and I would give Connor like an 8 or an 8 and like a quarter kind of thing. So it's tight. But I'm leaning towards Brian Robinson because of that offense. And I love Jaden Daniels. I love what he's doing right now, and he gives me every reason that he's going to continue that. Now, eventually, he's going to put up an egg, but right now he's doing okay. All right, Pittman or Wan'Dale? Great question. Do we have anything on? We have new questions from our friends at YouTube and Twitch. Okay, Pittman or Wan'Dale? What am I doing? I have not gone live since Thursday, and I wanted to go live last night. I was busy all day with just crazy stuff. Let's just see. Pittman recorded 6 receptions on 9 targets. Pittman has an underwhelming start to the season. Once Joe Flacco took over, Pittman settled into more of his typical role, working primarily. Okay, so again, Michael Pittman benefits from Flacco. It's that veteran leadership, you know. So he put up 14 points with Flacco last week. Maybe not all of them with Flacco, but let me look up Wan'Dale real quick. But it is that Flacco connection. All right, Wan'Dale. Wan'Dale Robinson. He had 12 points. Okay. Now, Wan'Dale probably moves up the depth charts with the I keep saying tonight. I'm sorry. That's really annoying. With Malik Neighbors up. So he becomes a number 1. So that's kind of a good thing for you guys out there. All right. Let me just read up real quick. Robinson, he doesn't have a designation for Sunday's game. Robinson logged limited practice time Wednesday and Thursday due to a heel injury. Time from being out there week 5 when he'll be likely the Giants' top pick. I think Wan'Dale. Okay, here's the thing. Cooper Hughes. Here's what I'm thinking. All right. If you want steady, put Pittman in. If you want a little bit more of a ceiling, if you want to maybe roll the dice and gamble a little bit, put Wan'Dale in there. He might put up Malik Neighbors' numbers close to them, and Malik was putting up really good numbers. So I would say that Pittman's sort of, and I say this all the time, makes me sound really old, but I'm not that old. Like Steady Eddie, like he's Freddie the steady man, Pittman, and Wan'Dale, because he's now the number 1 with Malik injured, he could get more catches. So that's a wonderful thing for you. So that's how I would look at it. If you want to maybe do a little bit better than Pittman's giving you, then I would put Wan'Dale in there. But otherwise, if you go with Pittman, no one's going to be mad at that choice. I think it's a decent choice given, injuries and all of that kind of stuff. So, all right, I'm torn. Who should I start? Hill or Flowers? You mean Tyreek Hill? I would not start Tyreek Hill. He has no quarterback to throw to him. His numbers are way down. Let me just make sure Flowers is activated and I'm not getting confused and I'm thinking clear on this. I don't want to give you advice. Oh, jeez. Oh, my God. Wow. What the heck happened to Flowers? He was targeted 10 times, 11 times, 4 and 2. Flowers could be in a line for more work in a road matchup against the Bengals' high-powered offense Sunday. Oh, jeez. Let me go back to Tyreek. I guess I haven't really looked at Hill or Flowers in a while. Jeez. Okay. Well, at least Tyreek gives you at least 5 or 6 points, Ethan. Flowers could have more points, maybe, but the last 2 weeks he's been a should I say a dog, a dud, whatever you want to call it. I mean, he's been bad. I wish I didn't have to wear my glasses. Can I? No, I still need them. Okay, Hill's going to give you 5 or 6 points probably. Flowers could give you 2 points. Might give you a little bit more, but I don't know that Flowers, given the performance of his last 2 weeks, is going to give you much more than about 8 points. But he could get you 2. At least with Hill, you're probably going to get 5 or 6 out of him. And what Miami, I think Odell Beckham Jr. is going to play for Miami this weekend. So it might take away a few targets from Tyreek. So I wish, like Ethan, neither one. I mean, I would almost look and see what's on your waiver wire, see if you can get or free agency and pick up a free agent and maybe drop Flowers. I mean, neither one of them, you're not going to win many head-to-head matchups in fantasy with Hill's numbers or Flowers' numbers, especially the last 2 weeks. Like, you're better off looking for another wide receiver who might put up 8 points or 10 points the last 2 or 3 weeks than either one of these guys. There's no quarterback. There's just no quarterback in Miami. And right now, Hill has not been the target. If anything, Waddle's been more of the target, and he hasn't even been that great the last couple of weeks. Okay, don't forget to follow. I go live Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, sometimes Friday or Saturday. I'd like to go tomorrow morning, but I might not be able to make it. I have to do some things. I'd like to go live before the kickoff Sunday. So hit that like and hit that follow because it's very important. You'll get notices when I'm online. You can ask me questions. And tonight it looks like I'm free so far. Tyreek Worthy or DJ Moore? Okay. Gerardo. I've heard it pronounced both ways. I apologize. Torres. Tyreek and DJ Moore, I would say, are off. Let me just look up DJ Moore. He was hurt for a long time. Let's see what happened. I guess he's been playing. Oh, DJ Moore. Yeah. Oh, no. I'm thinking of A.J. Brown. Okay. DJ Moore's played. He gives you about 9 points. Okay. He's had 7 points, 8 points, 11 points, 9 points. I'm not sold on the passing of Caleb Williams for DJ Moore to put up a lot of points. I don't think Caleb Williams is a great quarterback yet, the way Jaden Daniels has jumped in so quickly. All right. So I would say Worthy, because Worthy had a good week last week, or a decent week for him, considering where he started. And I'll just go through here. And that's a fun Monday night game that they have against New Orleans. But he's number 1 receiver now. If you can see that up there. I don't know what you can see or what. I'll try to make it right here. Yeah, Xavier Worthy's number 1. And last week, he had 14 points. So I would go with Worthy. All right. I'm getting bogged down now. I got a rose from Hayden. I'm going to go to Hayden right now. You give me Hayden. Okay. I just got the new. Oh, you just got the number 2 rose. All right. Hayden. Oh, my God. I'm doing this on my phone, everybody. And I just want to put this out there that I hate it because it jumps around. Hayden, I'm not seeing a question. Isaiah. Darnell Mooney. Okay. What about Mooney? He dropped that pass. He had a big game. Now, if you're saying, I think earlier in the week I said, I'm not worried about Mooney. He did have a good game, but you saw it on Thursday night. He did drop a couple passes. He had 2 touchdowns, but he could have been more. But, yeah, Mooney is everything. Isaiah 92925 Isaiah. Yeah, Darnell Mooney had a great game. Do I expect them to do that? I mean, they're playing Carolina this next game on the 13th. Wait, what? Hold on. No, that's not the date. I don't know what that is. But they're playing Carolina, so that'll be good for him. I mean, I don't think he's going to put up 27 points, but he could put up, 15, 14, let's say 12 to 15 to be safe. Okay, sorry, I'm drinking so much water. I'm really thirsty. All right, Hayden, where are you? Where's your question? I'm on my phone, guys. That's why I'm going through this. Oh, see, it jumped again. If you want me to read your chats, if you definitely want me to read your chats, spend a penny or two and buy me a rose. You said to start him and Dontavian Wicks. Oh, okay, good. I don't know who else you had on your team, but all right. So yeah, no, I mean, he blew it out of the water. That was great. I wish he would have caught that ball for you. I mean, I wish he would have. There was somebody, I think I said the other night, but it was like between, I'm making this up, but it's like Justin Jefferson or Mooney, or it was like might have been someone from Green Bay or Mooney. And I said, well, Green Bay's playing the Rams. They're going to put up some big numbers. Hayden, I'm not seeing your question. I apologize. I'm looking. All right. So I'm going to go. It looks like until we get Hayden's again, because he sent me a rose. If you definitely want me to ask a question, send me a rose. All right. And don't forget to follow. Don't forget to like. Okay. Who day? Worthy or Brian Thomas Jr.? I like Worthy because he's the number one. Let me look up Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, you got to figure. I just keep hearing that like this game for Jacksonville is going to be one of those games where, if they don't win, they're going to dump players. But I don't know how true that is. I just heard somebody, a lot the talking heads on radio and TV and all that talking about that. Okay. Thomas had a very productive start to his NFL career. He had 12 points, 10 points, 7 points, 18 points. They're playing Indianapolis. Kansas City plays New Orleans on Monday night. Let's just look up, if I haven't already, if I know the alphabet. Christian Kirk, Brian Thomas. So he's number 2. He had 18 points last week. I would venture to guess that Worthy brings you probably 12 to 15 points, conservatively speaking. All right. I would say Brian Thomas, in my estimation, going into this weekend, gives you close to that, maybe a little bit under that. He might be under that. I think he's got the speed. Mahomes is going to look for him. He's probably only going to be targeted, 3 or 4 times. I don't think Worthy gets lots of targets, but he is the number 1 this weekend. Well, I guess he was the number 1 last weekend, but he's the number 1 again, shall we say. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, he was only targeted this year 3, 4, 4, 4. Okay, he only has 2 touchdowns. But I would say he's going to be targeted 4 times. He's going to make 2 or 3 receptions, and he'll probably get somewhere around 50 yards receiving. And he may or may not get a touchdown. Hayden, there we go. A bunch of roses. I will look for your question next. So in my head, honestly, I would go Brian Thomas just based on the matchup. I think New Orleans also has, thank you, Rosie's butt. Some of these names, gotta laugh. Okay, against, like, I know a lot of times people who talk about sports have sort of their favorites. I try not really to have favorites. Sometimes I have favorite players. I would like to say Worthy, but I think Brian Thomas Jr., based on the matchup, could have a bigger day. Think of it like this. Xavier Worthy in week 3 had 4 points. He had 17 total yards receiving and 13 yards rushing. Okay, he was 2 for 4 in receiving, targeted 4 times, caught 2, rushing 3 times for 13 yards. He got a total of 4 points. That could be his Monday night. All right, that could be his Monday night. And that's the thing that kind of worries me. Maybe they go to Kelsey a little bit more. Maybe the number 2 is, well, let's see. Let's clarify who number 2 is. Justin Watson. Let's say Justin Watson gets, or Juju gets 1 or 2 of those touchdowns, or Mahomes runs it in, or Kareem Hunt runs it in. Kelsey catches 1. I would go with Brian Thomas. I think he's a safer choice. Again, this is one of those where it's the difference between a B plus and a B. Like Brian Thomas Jr. is the B plus and Worthy's the B. All right, Hayden, I'm going to go to you. Where's Hayden? I promise, Hayden, I know that we got a lot of people. All right, Isaiah sent on the road. Should I try to acquire a running back or stick with what I have? Jacobs, Dottle, Robinson Jr., and ETN. Well, Dottle is almost worthless in Dallas. Robinson's decent. Robinson's good. Jacobs is good. ETN is good. You don't have any people in that next. Well, obviously, you don't have like a Saquon Barkley, but you don't even have like a Kamara. So you might want to bundle up 2 to get 1. You know, like maybe you give them, you can sucker someone into like maybe Dottle and ETN for like, I don't know, like a Kamara. That wouldn't be a bad trade, Isaiah. Think something like that. Okay. Rosie's Butts. I know you gave me a flower. Erica, I'll try to get to yours. I got to find Hayden someplace. McLaurin, Flowers, Hill, start 2. We just had the Flowers Hill question a moment ago, and I think I said Hill only because Flowers could give you only 2 points. Chef Curry, thank you for the rose. I'll get to yours as soon as I find Hayden's. I'm looking for Hayden's. I would go McLaurin, and I would go Hill. The thing I like about Hill's not going to win you a lot of games. He's getting 5 and 6 points. You get 5 or 6 points out of any starting money player, wide receiver, running back, quarterback, you're probably going to lose. Okay, you're almost better off dumping Flowers and trying to get a free agent before Sunday's game. Okay, Chef Curry, I will get to it. I will get to it. I thank you for all the roses. I appreciate it. But I would go right now. I'd go Hill and McLaurin, Rosie's butt. But here's the thing: I would look to see what free agent wide receivers are out there. You might be able to pick up someone who can get 8, 10, 12 points. You know, I mean, if you look at the last 2 weeks of Flowers and Hill, there's not a lot of points there. All right. I think Chef Curry is getting a little. Okay, Hayden became the new. Oh, my God. Hayden, where's your question, buddy? I will get to Chef Curry. Oh, Chef Curry. I see. Jacoby Myers or Tyler Lockett. Those are more obscure. I'll get to them. And Hayden, I will keep looking for you. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I promise you. I'm doing this on my phone, and I hate doing it on my phone, but that's a whole nother story. Okay. First of all, I don't love Las Vegas. Minshew, I don't love as a quarterback. I don't love their offense in general. He was targeted 10 times last week he caught it 5. He had 49 yards. The week before, he had 62 yards and 1 touchdown. That's Myers. Okay. So, Myers 2 weeks ago had 17 points. Last week he had 7. He's had 7, 4, 17, 7. So more than likely, if you play the averages, he's going to get you somewhere around 10 points. All right. Myers. Now let's look at Lockett. Again, if I can spell, I would be a much better help to everyone. Tyler Lockett. Well, Tyler Lockett has 10, 2, 7, 8. I'm just trying to read it to see if there's anything I can go on. I would go with Myers only because it looks like now, from what I'm reading, in Seattle, that while he might, yeah, JSN, he's number 3 now, Lockett. So I would, Chef Curry, I would go with Myers. Okay. I'm looking for Hayden. Hayden. Hayden, I still don't see your question. Let me go back the other way. I got Rosie's butt. I love that name. Okay, Eric Alcorda. I traded Mixon and Olave for Bijan and Zay Flowers. Did I do okay? Well, Mixon's hurt. So you traded away a hurt running back for one that you could actually play. Olave for Flowers, you got skunked. You got screwed. You got hosed. I'm not trying to be mean, Eric. But Zay Flowers, I've been looking him up several times tonight. He's a dog. I mean, and I like dogs, but his numbers are 8 points, 18 points, 3 and 1. Yeah. So if you traded Mixon and Olave for Bijan and Zay, once Mixon gets healthy, that Mixon and Olave are like A's, and Bijan with Zay Flowers, like Bijan is, B plus A kind of okay, let me put it like this. Mixon and Olave, let's say that I grade putting those two together an 8. Bijan and Zay Flowers, I put together like a 6.5. Zay doesn't bring anything to the table right now. Flowers could be in line for more work in a road matchup. Yeah, but he was only he was targeted 10 times, 11 times, 4 times, 2 times. Boom. Like he's dying on the vine. So yeah, Eric, I'm sorry. I'm not going to belabor this point. I won't do that to you. Okay, Hayden, I'm still looking. Should I try to acquire? Okay, I already said that. All right. If you want me to definitely read your chat, spend a penny, buy a rose. Chef Curry keeps sending me roses. Okay, Millie, I think you've spent money before. There's that, or maybe you follow me. There's that little block. So I'll answer whoever has that bluish, darkish, bluish box before their name. I'll also answer because I think it means you either donated before or you follow. Stevenson or Najee. I would go at Najee. But yeah, let me just look up Stevenson. He was good earlier on. Yeah, he's not. He had 20 points, 16 points, 0.3 points, and 6.2 points. I would definitely go with Najee against Dallas. Not even a question on that one, Millie. All right. Christopher Kupferl. If I butcher that, I apologize, Christopher. You sent me a rose, so thank you very much on that. I'm looking for questions. Chef Curry. Oh, while I'm at it, should I start Tank Dell even though they play Buffalo? Chef Curry, here's the thing. I don't get everybody's fascination with Tank Dell. I don't understand it. He's a number 3 guy. Well, let's double check. Yeah, he's a number 3 guy with Houston. And CJ Stroud, I mean, he's good, but he's not quite, I don't know, maybe he's not having the season he had last year, per se. We're not talking about it. I know we're not talking about him as much, but that's not fair. That's not a good, line to talk about. But I would say, I mean, playing Buffalo isn't bad. You can score on Buffalo. I mean, people put big points up against Buffalo. It's just, who else do you have? Tank Dell is not. I'll look him up. Because before I rant, I like to at least know. Yeah, I mean, okay. Let's see. Dell doesn't have a designation for Sunday's game. Dell didn't practice before he was ruled out. Dell will operate as Texans number 3. Okay. Tank Dell at 7 points, 1.8 points. Okay. Then he didn't play last week. All right. Here's the thing about Tank Dell. Everybody talks about him. All right. If you can put him on your bench and sort of bury him on your bench, I would maybe consider that. Look and see if you don't have any more wide receivers, maybe try to get a free agent wide receiver. Tank Dell is gonna maybe get you 8 points. Maybe there's a free agent that's had a better last 2 weeks than 8 points, you know. And with Mixon out, I think that hurts the wide receivers on Houston because obviously they don't have a run game. I mean, has Akers done anything? I know everybody talked about him a week or two ago. Yeah, he's had 2 points, 9 points, 5 points. Let's look at Pierce real quick. Damian Pierce. Oh yeah, he's dog doo-doo. Yeah, so they don't have a run game right now without Mixon, and that really hurts Tank Dell. You know, you got to have that balance. You got to run the ball to open up the receivers and pass the ball to open up the run. I mean, that's kind of the way football works. I'm not being mean. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying they don't have a running core. They don't have a running game right now, and that's going to hurt Tank Dell, who's their number 3. All right. So maybe look and see if you can get somebody, you know, some free agent. All right. Christopher. I sold Tyreek for Nico. Yay or nay? That's a big up. If you got rid of Tyreek for Nico Collins, Christopher, brilliant move. Brilliant move. You sold the name of Tyreek and you got a guy who puts up really good numbers. I mean, Nico Collins is he's on one of my teams, and this guy is phenomenal. I mean, 14 points. That 14 points week 1. That's very helpful in fantasy. Anything in the teens from wide receivers and running backs is going to put you close to beating your opponent. That's what you want. You want the team wide receivers and running backs. You want them to average in the teens, not 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You want that in that range. Then he got 23. Then he got 10. Now 10 is not the teens. So did he fail? Not really. Maybe he got a C minus, maybe a D plus there with 10. It's not too far away. It's only 3 points away from the teens. Then he had 27 points last weekend. So yeah, Nico Collins, best trade that I've seen. You said you sold, but I'm assuming you traded. Best trade I've seen all year. You hosed him. You got him. Tyreek's having a horrible year. You traded the name of Tyreek, the person who is Tyreek, for Nico Collins, for someone who's actually going to put up and generate lots of points for you. So brilliant move. Kudos to you. All right, Hayden, I'm not seeing your questions. So I think, yes, Christopher, great move. I got sent a trade. I get CD. This is Connor. I think we're up to the freeze because I don't see anything from Hayden. Don't forget to follow me. I go live Tuesday nights, Thursday nights. What am I saying? Thursday nights. Pick 3. Okay, I don't even know if these guys are still on. I have not been following. I apologize for this, guys. I have not been following YouTube. Let me jump to YouTube real quick. Who should I try to trade? I bet you most of these people are gone. Camilo Garcia. Who should I try to trade? Jonathan Taylor for. I need a receiver. Well, Jonathan Taylor isn't going to play Camilo Garcia, so you're probably not going to get anything for him. He's injured. Sloppy options trader, pick 3. Zay Flowers, no. Christian Kirk, yes. Addison, you know what? You have Addison and Madison, and for the life of me, I get the 2 of them. Addison is the one with Minnesota. That's the one that I think has really good value. He put up a great week last week. He had 21 points. So I'm saying that you should go with, if you're still around, Addison, Kirk, and Downs. But let me look up Madison real quick. Yeah, I would go Kirk, Addison, and Downs if you're still around. Sorry about that, everybody. I got to check YouTube. All right, let's get back to TikTok. Connor, I got sent a trade. CD and Dottle. I lose Jamar and Chuba. Should I accept? Dottle has no value at all. None. He's horrible. Like, okay, look, I couldn't make the NFL. So let me just put that disclaimer out there, all right? But from a fantasy standpoint, unfortunately, Dottle is not a good answer for you. All right. So I'll just look him up real quick, but he had a good week last week, but he had 3 points, 7 points, 7 points, 12.6 points. Okay. Chuba's been putting up 20 points. Jamar. Okay. Connor, I'm not sure which Jamar you have because some people spell Jahmyr Gibbs that way. Are you talking about Jamar Chase with Cincinnati? I just, here's the thing. Right now, you got sent a trade, Connor, for 2 Dallas Cowboys. Dallas's offense, CD's having an okay year, but he's not having a CD year. Dak's having an okay year, but he's not having a Dak year. Offensively, they're not great because they don't run very well. Dottle is probably, well, let's look it up. Dallas. Dallas is, oh, come on, stupid screen. Okay, Dottle is their number 1, and he put up 12 points. That was his best week last week. So he's going nowhere. I mean, he's not going anywhere. So I don't love that. No, I would not make that trade at all, Connor. You're getting hosed completely. All right. 925 Isaiah sent another rose. Mark joined. Thanks for joining. Jeff Greer, Higgins or Worthy? I'm going Worthy. I think Worthy will put up many more points than T. Higgins. McLaurin or Wicks? Let's see. Yeah, Jeff Greer. I'm just saying I think Worthy's going to have a better game than Higgins. Worthy's the number 1 for Kansas City. Higgins is still at least the number 2 with Cincinnati. And I think Worthy's they're probably going to pass to him at least 4 times. He's going to catch 2 or 3 of them. One might be a touchdown. He might only get 50 yards, not 100, but he'll probably get you more points than Higgins will. All right. McLaurin or Wicks? I just looked up Wicks. Why can't I remember this? It's because I look up 10,000 names and then, oh, yeah. Yeah, I like Wicks. I like Wicks a lot against the LA Rams and the fact that he put up 22 points last week. I like McLaurin a lot. Don't get me wrong. With Daniels, I think it's brilliant. However, I think against the Rams, Green Bay has a chance of running up a nice score and having many different people score touchdowns. So I'm going with Worthy there. All right. If you want me to definitely read your chats, spend a penny or two and send me a rose. All right. 925 Isaiah, Dottle and Brian Robinson for James Cook. Okay, Isaiah, I'm glad. Okay. Dottle to me has no value, really. I mean, he had 12 points last week, but 12 points at the running back position puts you close to your opponent for that week, but that's not a winning score. Like a lot of running backs will score 14, 15, 16, or even higher points, quality ones. 12 is good, but before that, he never even got to double digits. Okay. Now, James Cook is one of those more elite kind of runners. Let's look up Robinson real quick and see what kind of numbers Brian Robinson. I mean, Brian Robinson, 16 points, 14 points, 10 points, 18 points. So he's going to give you the teens all the time. But let's look at Cook because I know that he has some monster games here. I think he had one fall off. 11, 28, 16, and 5. Okay. I guess the way I'm looking at this is the last week, is the loss by Buffalo last week an outlier, an enigma? It's not going to happen this week, or have they regressed? All right, because they lost 35-10. That was a legitimate loss. It wasn't like it was 35-31 or something like that. They weren't very close. All right, so they got pounded. They got pounded by Baltimore. All right, and Brian Robinson's numbers are close to James Cook's numbers. I mean, I think James Cook has a total of 61 points this year. 61 points. 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 61 poin And and Brian Robinson has 59 points. But Brian Robinson has 16, 14, 10, 18. Now, if you think and say, okay, if Cook had 5 more points, that would put him at 66. So if you look at it, I don't know that 925 Isaiah, I don't know how much better you're making your team getting James Cook. Because let's say James Cook, rather than 5 points, scored 10 points. So he's at 66. Brian Robinson is still at 59. Yeah, 59. And so it's a difference of 7 points over 4 weeks. That's just under, it's like a point and a half a week. Okay. So that's sort of the way I know you really can't do averages with a lot of this stuff, but I'm trying to do that for the sake of argument. Then you also have Dottle, who, if Dallas rights the offensive ship that they're running up against, could have value. If that 12 points, although they're playing Pittsburgh, I don't expect them to have a better week than last week because Pittsburgh is a much better, they're a pretty good defense. But if Dottle starts getting 14 points and Brian Robinson, gets anywhere from 12 to 18 points, and look, 925 Isaiah, if you have a lot of other running backs and you can afford to lose essentially Brian Robinson and put in James Cook, you get a little bit better. You get a point and a half better a week. Okay. Are you willing to do that? Do you want to do that? And remember, he didn't score a 10. He scored a 5. So technically, he was 2 points higher, which is basically nothing. I mean, it's 0.5. Let's just say that. It's 0.5. So you're really trading Brian Robinson and James Cook for the same. Those are the same people. And you're giving away Dottle. It's not a good trade. If you're giving away Dottle and Brian Robinson, it's not a good trade. By an inch, it's not really a good trade. You're basically giving away a little bit more, technically. If Dottle comes around and starts putting up 12 points on a regular basis, you're giving up more. Because Cook, he's not going to score 20 points every week. He's going to have another week where he might get 5 or 6 or whatever it might be. Now, he may go on and have 15 points every week for the rest of the year, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't personally think that's going to happen. All right. So I would not make that trade only because it doesn't really improve you that much. All right. Worthy or Stevenson by Cap? Worthy. Stevenson is not a go-to person in New England. Ramondre. And I say that. I've looked him up. I'll just look up Stevenson real quick. I know he's been a dog lately. And like I keep saying, I like dogs. So he's been a dud. Let's say dud. Come on. I can't spell tonight at all. Yeah. Like, here's the thing about Stevenson. 20 points, 16 points, started the season great, 0.36. Yeah, you start Worthy all day on that one. Okay. Thank you for the gift, Miami Fresh. Thank you. I'll be looking for Miami Fresh. Higgins or Sermon? Sermon. Here's the thing, everybody. Miami Fresh, I just heard that Sermon, while he's going to replace Jonathan Taylor, it's going to be a rushing by committee. That is what the coach has said. It's a rotation rusher, but Sherman should operate as the committee's lead rusher. So I'm telling you right now, Sermon is not going to get, like, Jonathan Taylor gets the bulk of all the carries. He's the clear number 1. It's not going to be quite the same with Sermon. So he's not going to have as many attempts. All right. Now you're saying Higgins. You're thinking it's T. Higgins, right? I mean, T. Higgins didn't play the first 2 weeks. Then he got 5 points and he got 9 points, and they're playing Baltimore this weekend. Now there's talk that, this is going to be a higher scoring affair. I should probably get up to speed with all the over-unders and stuff like that when I do this, but I apologize for that. So yeah, I mean, I should do that, and I'll go to YouTube in just a second. But I would say I would go with Sermon just because there's a good chance, there's a decent chance that Sermon could get a run, a 2-yard run for a touchdown, and maybe he'll get 50 yards rushing, or maybe he'll have one 40-yard play and then 2 or 3, plays that add up to be 30 yards. Higgins is very inconsistent. They're playing Baltimore. He, like I said, I'll get to YouTube. I'll get to Nick M. Nick M, that is one heck of a question, by the way. He had 9 points last week, T. Higgins. I think Sermon will have more. I think Sermon should get more than 9 points, but that's not saying a lot. They announced he's not even starting anymore. Is that Ramondre Stevenson? Yeah, I'm assuming that's who you mean. Wait, who said that? Richard Andretti. Okay, I'm going to go to YouTube real quick. YouTube is not as busy as you guys are. Tank Dell or Waddle? Okay. This is like everybody loves Tank Dell. He's a number 3 receiver. I know I'm a broken record. Everybody hears me say this. Last week he was out. Tank Dell gives you maybe, if you're lucky, 8 points. Maybe. Here's the thing. Maybe if someone gets injured, he gives you more. Like if Nico Collins goes down, maybe he gives you more, but he gives you 8. All right. Waddle, let's look up Waddle because I've been talking about Tyreek all night. Waddle, they don't have a quarterback in he had 13 points, 6 points, 4 points, 5 points. So here's the question. My guess would be over the last 3 weeks, Waddle's had 6.5, 4.5 roughly, or 4.6, 5.6. So let's just say that we'll split the difference and say he gives you 5.5. All right, Waddle, over the last 3 weeks. And then we look up, Tank Dell, real quick. Dell, I think, could do a little bit more because he didn't play, but he had 8 points, 7 points. So I'm leaning towards Tank Dell. Yeah, I would say, look, if you're choosing, unless you have like a 12-man league, Nick M, Tank Dell or Waddle are not having good seasons. And to play them is basically admitting that you have no one else that's any good that's going to get you double digits. Neither one of those players, in my estimation, is going to give you double digits. Dell might get close with 8 or 9. Maybe he'll get 11 or 12 and surprise me at least. I don't think Waddle gets to double digits. He hasn't over the last 3 weeks. It would be a surprise if he did. Dell's going to give you 8 points. Waddle's going to give you 5.5. I think I answered the question, but all right, let's go back to TikTok real quick. Top 5 low darks: Wan'Dale, Amari, or Worthy. I would go with Worthy only because he's the number 1 for Kansas City. Amari Cooper, I don't trust Deshaun Watson. And Wan'Dale, he'll be number 1 with the Giants, but do they even have that great of a quarterback or an offense? I think Worthy catches or is targeted 4 times. I think he catches at least 2, and 1 could be a touchdown. And he'll probably have 50 points. Maybe he'll have a little bit more and go crazy. They'll find something, some opening, or his speed will catch up. But I would go with Worthy. All right. Let's see. If you're on TikTok, you want to send me a rose, I will definitely answer your question. I know we don't have too many people on the line anymore. Also, don't forget to follow and like, whether you're on, well, I guess what you want to do on TikTok, follow and like. On YouTube, like and subscribe. I talk fantasy to TikTok on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and obviously I'm sometimes on the weekends. I want to try to go Sunday before the kickoff, but I don't know if I will be able to tomorrow. On YouTube, I go live on Tuesdays, and I also will probably go live during the games on YouTube and TikTok tomorrow just to go over, who's doing well, who isn't. in fantasy and stuff like that. And last time, I got a lot of people on YouTube, which was very pleasant to see. All right. If you want me to answer your questions, send me a rose. They're like a penny. Otherwise, I think we're caught up. And if I'm not, somebody yell at me and let me know. Okay, I'm going to go with Wrigley because it looks like we're caught up. No cap, pick 2. Ronnie Rivers. Oh my God. I would go Mason. You're talking Wrigley. You're talking Jordan Mason, right? Man, you are Wrigley. You're bringing up names that I just don't see a lot of. You know, what league are you in? Or is there a lot of teams in your league? Oh, Mason Tipton. Oh, you're giving me first and last names. Okay, I'm thinking of Jordan Mason. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. Huh. Yay. Okay. Zacchaeus, I guess. Let's look at Washington real quick. Zacchaeus is, let's just say he's the number three wide receiver. That's not a, he'll get, as a number 3, he'll get targeted, maybe 2 to 4 times. So you won't get a lot of opportunities. Mason Tipton, like I said, these are players that I do not see a lot. So my guess is you're in a league that has a lot of people, or I don't know, maybe Mason Tipton has 4 points on the year. I mean, let's look up Ronnie. I guess that's why you say no cap. I would almost look and see Wrigley. I would see if you can get a free agent with anybody. Like if there's a free agent available. Okay, starting Ronnie Rivers and starting Mason Tipton, you're not going to win. They're going to give you 2 to 3 points unless someone above them gets hurt, and they move up to like a 2 or a 1 or whatever it might be. All right. I would start, I think it's Zacchaeus, right? And then the other 2, I don't know. I guess Rivers. Let's see what LA's depth chart looks like. Come on. LA's depth chart. What? Running back, duh. Okay, Ronnie Rivers is behind Kyren Williams. Okay, I would go with Rivers. I don't know why I was thinking he was a running back. I would go with Rivers and Zacchaeus. And I like the running back because they're a little bit more solid because they get the ball handed to them as opposed to thrown to them and not caught or, not thrown well to them. But if you're having to start them, unless you have a league of 20 teams or something like that, I really feel bad. You must have a lot of people on buys, and I apologize for that. That's a tough week, dude. That's a real tough week. All right. If you want me to definitely read your chat or read your comment or your question, rather, send me a rose. Otherwise, I'm just going to pick out random freebies. Also, on TikTok, I go live Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, sometimes on the weekend. Like I am tonight, and I go live like during the games tomorrow when they're, I'm in Central Time, so it's the 12 o'clock games and the 3 o'clock games. I try to get on, I don't know, 1:30 or 2, so I watch the end of the first group of games and then the beginning of the second group of games, I guess, to kind of talk about, what fantasy players or what top players are doing well and who are not. So on YouTube, we don't have a lot of people, but like and subscribe. I'll be live tomorrow during the games, helping with questions, giving score updates and fantasy point updates and all that kind of good stuff. So let me just pick, since no one on TikTok is sending me a rose and we have a ton of questions. A rose is a penny, guys. I think you buy 12 or you buy 100 for $1. All right. We have a question on YouTube. Chief Chimp 3G. says, have Kyren, roster Corum, or hold Jonathan Brooks. If you'd rather Corum drop Ford, I don't know what this means. Nobody likes to trade, by the way. I know no one likes to trade. You have Kyren, roster Corum. Okay. You mean bench? Okay, you have Corum, but he's obviously behind Kyren. Kyren's not hurt. PPR if it matters. Or hold Jonathan Brooks. So are you saying either have Kyren's replacement or hold on to Brooks is what it seems to ask. But he's not even playing this week. Brooks started the regular season in reserve. Jonathan Brooks has not been okay to play. So I don't even know. Is he still on IR? I would try to put him on IR and pick somebody else up. Chief Chimp. If I had Kyren Williams, would I rather have Corum or Jonathan Brooks? Well, the problem I have with that is until Brooks is able to play, I don't even know what he's going to possibly do. Like, all the unknowns scare me. Corum, at least, if Williams goes down, you have Corum, and Williams is one of those top running backs, and you have his replacement, and you cross your fingers that he puts up good numbers like Williams does. So you sort of have that safety net. With Jonathan Brooks, it may be, I don't know, 4 weeks before. Like, I don't have a time frame for him. It could be a week, it could be 5 weeks, it could be the rest of the season, until he plays or they put him someplace. So I would go with Corum only because Brooks has not even been taken off the injured reserve. From the information that I just looked up, he hasn't been taken off the injured reserve. So that's why I would go with Corum. All right, let's go. I think we're all caught up on TikTok. If you want me to definitely read your question, send me a rose, but I'm just going to pick somebody. Ryan, what's up? Big trade. Who wins? Daniels, Walker III, Higgins for Fields, Hall, and Reed. I think Daniels is a better quarterback than Fields, bigger numbers. I think Walker and Hall will end up having the same. Well, let me look that up. Hall's putting up pretty good numbers except for last week when the Jets just laid an egg. Yeah, 15, 20, 16, 2. So he was an all-star, fantasy all-star, Breece Hall, up until last week. Walker, I think he played last week, right? He had a good game. He had 31 points. He had 17 points the first week. Okay, big trade. Who wins? Daniels and Walker. Right now, Daniels and Walker, I believe, beat Hall and Fields. Now let's look in Reed, and I'm assuming it's Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed is much better than Higgins. Let me look up Higgins, but I think I know that. Yeah, T. Higgins. If you're talking about T. Higgins, there's no. Okay, here's the problem. I think Daniels is going to put up. I think Daniels is having a much better season. Let me just get the latest on him. Daniels, 94 points. Fields, 74 points. So Daniels is like an A. Fields is like, for a quarterback, a B. Maybe a B plus at the most, but probably like a B. All right. Then you have Walker and Hall. Now, Walker has missed 2 weeks, but he's had 17 points and 30 points the weeks that he did play. Hall laid an egg last week. He's played 4 times though. Walker hasn't, so it could be you're getting tired. It's the NFL. Everybody plays hurt, so I don't want to necessarily dock him too much. But right now, I'm giving the edge to Walker, like A minus B plus kind of thing. And when it comes to Reed, Reed's much better than Higgins. I wouldn't want to get rid of Daniels and Walker. Personally, I wouldn't want to get rid of Daniels and Walker. I would try to find another way to get Reed. All right. Because getting Fields is a step down from Daniels. Like I said, it's like an A to a B kind of thing. Walker to the Hall, I think, is like an A to a B, B plus maybe. And Reed is the other way around. It's an A to like probably a B, B minus for Higgins. So they're actually somewhat balanced because Higgins is a lot worse or having a not as good of a year as Jaden Reed. However, I would rather have Daniels as my quarterback and Walker running the ball. Maybe you go, I'm just trying to think this through. Maybe you go Walker and Higgins for Hall. He's not going to do that. I would go Walker. If you have a better wide receiver, but that isn't as good as Reed, maybe somebody a little bit better than Higgins, or maybe you go Daniels and Higgins for Fields and Reed. Maybe. I just think Walker's going to have a better. Right now, he's showing that he's a little bit better player than Reed. Okay, we had a question on YouTube. I don't think I'm getting any hearts here on TikTok. If you want me to definitely read your questions, send me a heart. It's a penny, guys, on TikTok. We're going to go back to YouTube. Should I trade Jonathan Taylor or Saquon Barkley for Travis Kelce? Come on, Deluxe Dominator. You got to be joking me, right? You got to be joking me. No. Why would you do that? Should I trade Jonathan Taylor or Saquon? Okay, if you're saying, shall I get rid of Jonathan Taylor and get Travis Kelce? Shall I get rid of Saquon Barkley and get Travis Kelce? Don't do either of those moves until Kelce can show you he's going to score more than 12 points like he did last week. He's not having a great season. Saquon Barkley is an MVP candidate. Don't trade him. Now, if you're saying that you can trade Travis Kelce and get Jonathan Taylor or Saquon Barkley, the best thing you could do is out of Jonathan Taylor and Saquon Barkley, get Saquon. He's having a better year. So if you can get rid of Kelce and get Saquon, do it. And then if the guy says no, if you can get Jonathan Taylor, I would do it. But Jonathan Taylor's not playing this week, so that's going to be a problem. All right. Garrett Borman sent me a heart puff. All right. Do I start Chase Brown at the flex? Well, Garrett, that's a very good question. Yeah, I meant Kelce sounds good. Chase for Breece Hall. Okay, hold on. I got a YouTube question, and Garrett, I'm going to get to you. Chase Brown at the flex. Now, I don't know who else you have. I mean, Chase Brown is no great shakes. He had a big week last week against Carolina, but can he do it against Baltimore? He had 3. This is Chase Brown's year. 3 points, 3 points, 7.9, 22. But he played Carolina when he got to 22. He's now playing Baltimore. I would say Baltimore's defense is better than Carolina's. So he's probably not going to get 22. Could he maybe get 15? Could he maybe get 12? Probably. I don't know who else you have, though. All right? Like, if you have nobody else, you can. But I don't know what your other choices are. Now, when you respond to this, Garrett Borman, say something like, I can choose, these are the people I can choose for flex, and put Chase Brown back in there. I don't always remember, just because of the stupid way I have to do this from my phone. Please understand, I have to do this from my phone, and I hate doing TikTok on my phone because it's well, number one, it's not a lot of fun, and number two, I can't keep up with the chat. They give me like this much to scroll through, and I can't see it. All right, I'm going to go to YouTube. Garrett, I'll look for that other one. YouTube, Chase for Breece Hall. Okay, okay, I'm assuming, well, obviously you mean Jamar Chase. If you're getting Breece Hall, I think you win that. Jamar Chase is good, don't get me wrong, but you're talking wide receiver, running back. I'm assuming you mean Jamar Chase, not Chase Brown. Jamar Chase has 57 points. He's obviously a wide receiver. He's had 3 touchdowns. He has not rushed the ball. So he's having an okay season, okay? But you look at Breece Hall, and he's had, oh, God. Okay, so Jamar Chase has had 57 points. Breece Hall has had 55 points. And you might say, oh, well, but you got to remember, Breece Hall laid a big fat egg last week with 2.8 points. He had 15 points, 20.9, 16.3, and 2.8. All right. Against Denver. He plays Minnesota, so it's a tougher defense. So if you get Breece Hall, he may have a tough week again this week. But my guess is he's going to bounce back and probably be in double digits. Now, the thing about Jamar Chase is I like Joe Burrow. I want Joe Burrow to be really good, but I don't know if that offense is sticking in Cincinnati. Okay. Jamar Chase, 9 points, 5 points, 26 points, 16 points. I think, the question is, it's Jamar Chase. Here, Maceo, Cohen. Here's the thing, Breece Hall or Jamar Chase. I think if Breece Hall had the week, even if he had 8 more points, that would put him a little bit better than Jamar Chase. He didn't. But if he had more than 2.8 is what I'm saying. I think, okay, I always lean to go with a running back. If I have to make a decision, I always lean with a running back over a wide receiver because a wide receiver has to be targeted. I know that a running back sort of has to be called their number. And they have to get a pass that's catchable, okay? And in the NFL, most passes are relatively catchable. Let's be honest. These guys they could probably, put a fire out on a candle with a football. But I like running backs because it's a handoff. They get it. There's not a lot of doubt. It's not like they were targeted 8 times, they caught the ball 4. You don't like that doesn't happen with running. I mean, unless they're catching, but running backs have 4 targets and they ran the ball and they didn't have to worry about a good or bad pass unless they were throwing a pass. But I always lean, I guess what I'm saying is it's kind of an even Steven kind of thing right now. I think Breece is a little bit better because he did lay an egg and all the Jets laid an egg. So when your offense and your team isn't playing well, I really truly think it affects the entire team. So I would go Breece, but it's like a half an inch difference there. It's like the difference between, it's like an 8.5 and an 8.4 or maybe an 8.35. Like, it's a nano degree difference. All right. If you want me to definitely read, okay, Garrett Borman, kind of just streaming a random flex player this week and hoping for the best. Oh, God. Well, Garrett, you got to look at some of the numbers. I mean, you were the one with Chase Brown. Yeah, I just think that it might be, I mean, Chase Brown, well, let's look it up. Cincinnati real quick. Let's look up their depth chart here. And I should have this on. I didn't put this on YouTube. Chase Brown is, the other thing about it is Chase Brown is still the number 2 running back. So he's not even going to get as many carries as Zach Moss in general. Even if there's 30 carries, okay, he might get 20. Or there's 30 carries, he might get 10. But he's probably not going to get more than 15. So that limits him. But, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's a decent call. All right, Panda, start 2. Harrison, DK, Cooper, Olave. Well, Arizona plays San Francisco. That's Harrison. DK, Seattle. I, of course, did not write it down. And I always say that when I don't write it down, don't I? Let me see who DK is playing real quick. DK plays the Giants. Okay, DK plays the. I'm just looking for Cooper. I'm pushing out. I'm not in love with Deshaun. I don't think their offense is very good. I'll look him up, but I mean, 2 points, 24 points, 5 points, very inconsistent. He's off the table. Olave plays Kansas City on Monday night, correct? Yeah. Kansas City has a very good defense. And Olave's only really reached that teen number one time this year. He's had 2 points, 10 points, 17, 12. When he got 17, he got his 1 touchdown. Okay. So Harrison, I think, is a lock out of those names. Yeah, Harrison's a lock. He's going to get you probably in the teens. All right. And then let me just double check on Metcalf. Yeah. I would say Metcalf and I would say Metcalf and Harrison. Kincaid or Bowers, asks Hunter. We're going tight ends. I haven't looked up Bowers in a while. I was promoting him. I'm assuming you mean Brock Bowers. Who are they playing? They're playing Denver. Denver's pretty good defense. You figure roughly he had 8 points, 14, 5, and 6. Is he going to get 14 again? No, that's an outlier. He's going to get 14 or 12 on a good week. He's probably going to get you, let's just say, 6 points. Brock Bowers. Kincaid, 1 point, 5 points, 11 points, 7 points, but he's playing Houston. Oh, boy. These matchups are... Denver's defense and Brock Bowers could give you 1 or 2 more points than Kincaid. Like, statistically speaking, objectively, statistically speaking, Bowers could give you... Wait, Bowers? I want to make sure I'm right here. Yeah, Bowers gives you 1 to 2 more points and could have a higher ceiling, okay? But Denver has a pretty good offense. Kincaid gives you... Let's just say Kincaid gives you 4 to 5 points. Bowers gives you 5 to 6 points. It's kind of in that window. At least the averages are. Now, one could go off. I don't have anything. Well, let me just double check. Bowers 2 games. Yeah, I think Bowers. I think the offense in Vegas is questionable, so that's why I would go. Well. But he has better. I don't know. I mean, the matchup, a big target, can't be. I mean, geez, he got 19 yards receiving, 12 yards rushing. He could do that again and get 4 points. So I would just go with Bowers by a little bit. All right, who else? Anybody send any gifts? That's how I read your questions. Panda, which defense? Packers, Vikings, Commanders, Bears. Well, the Bears played Carolina. That's not a bad one. The Vikings have a very good defense. So let's look this up. Minnesota. I'm sorry, you guys probably hate that. Minnesota has 56 points on the year as a defense. Let's look up Green to the Bay. Green Bay has 46 points. And they're playing the Rams, though. And the Rams have a bad offense. So we got to look up matchups a little bit. Washington's offense, not so good. You have 4 defenses, Panda? I wouldn't have 4 defenses. Washington has 9 points. I would not even look at Washington. If you have the Washington Commanders as your defense, dump them, get a money player, get a wide receiver or a running back. I don't know why you have 4. I don't know why you're asking me about 4 defenses. And Chicago has 43. But Chicago's playing the lowly Panthers. Green Bay's playing the lowly Rams. Minnesota are playing the Jets. The Jets have something to prove, but Minnesota has a very good defense. I'm going to go on matchups and say I'm kind of looking at Green Bay because they have 46 points on the year and they could score more. Oh, Nathaniel has 8,000 questions on YouTube. Okay, I'll try to get to those. Hey, Daniel Barry Sports Highlights is on or was on. I know I'm on TikTok too, guys, so it's crazy right now. At least TikTok isn't totally ambushing me. I would go with Green Bay because they're playing the Rams. Minnesota playing the Jets. Now, Minnesota has 10 more points. That's good for 2.5 points a week. That's a pretty good difference in defense. So if you want to go with Minnesota, you can confidently, they're sort of let's just put it this way. Minnesota is the safe bet. Put Minnesota in at defense. If you want to maybe play, if you're like a gambler and you're like, okay, Green Bay's playing the Rams offense is not so good outside of Kyren Williams, and they're going to stack the box. I would say you could go with Green Bay. I mean, heck, you could go with Chicago against Carolina, too, if you want to gamble. But Minnesota's your safest bet. All right. Remember, on TikTok, if you send me a rose, I will definitely answer your questions. Okay. No, I have Vikings and Packers. The other 2 are just waivers. I wouldn't even look at them. I would look at Minnesota and Green Bay and Panda. And to me, the Vikings are the safe choice. They're 2.5 more points on average a week. But the Packers could have an upside against the lowly whatchamadoodles. And Nathaniel has 8,000 questions to me. I'll go to Tricks first because I can answer Nathaniel's in like 1 second. Packers or Chiefs defense? Guys, I like the Chiefs defense. Spagnuolo is really good. Well, let's look up the Chiefs defense though before. I know what the Packers give us. They give us 46 points on the year. What does Kansas City? I know Kansas City's run defense is not fantastic. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I would go with the Packers. Kansas City only has 26 points on the year. They do give up a lot of running plays and big running plays. They average, I think I took a picture of I think they're ranked 32nd in the league on rushes per play or yards per play, yards rushing per play. Or however you say that. All right, Nathaniel, what do we got here? Let's go through all of this. He likes the hat. Good. Hey, what's up? Daniel Barry is here. I said that again. Don't worry about it. You were late. I put Kelsey back in my lineup. Good. He had a good week last week, 12 points. I am happy I didn't trade you. I told you not to trade me. Don't worry about missing anything. Okay, Pandas 4 defenses. Do you think Kelsey will get his projected point? I think Kelsey probably is good for at least 12 points. I mean, he's going to at least duplicate what he did last week. It's essentially the same team. Xavier Worthy's the number 1 wide receiver. I think he's going to be targeted 4 to 5, maybe 6 times. He might score a touchdown. He'll probably get 50 yards receiving. He's a deep threat. He's a quick guy. Sage asked if I'm going to go to the next Diddy party. I don't think, Sage, if you're still around, I don't think Diddy's going to have any more parties. So I don't think I have to worry about it. I think his parties are done for a long time. Oh, you might go to Monday's game. Hey, Nathaniel. All right. Wait, you're talking about, yeah, you're obviously talking about the playoffs. Hey, the Mets, did they end up winning today, Nathaniel? Anyway, all right. I got my buddy Nathaniel on YouTube. All right, Oliver. Pat Curtain will be on Myers the whole game, so Bowers will be the guy who gets open. Okay. Justin Fields. Okay, Panda. Justin Fields or Jaden Daniels? That's a good question because Justin Fields plays the lowly Dallas Cowboys, who don't have much of a defense. But Washington plays Cleveland. And I think Daniels is on a roll. I think Eckler's coming back at running back. I think that they have a good group of wide receivers. So I would go with Jaden Daniels. I think Justin Fields is a good choice. Dallas has a very bad defense in running and passing. But I think Jaden Daniels, since they are playing Cleveland, they're not that great. Cleveland's not that great of a team. So, all right. It is my birthday on the 10th, and my grandmother is coming down this Sunday to watch me play a doubleheader in baseball. So I'm hoping I can get some money. So you're waiting on money from your grandmother, Nathaniel, to go to the game? Well, hey, you know, when you're a kid, you got to think like that. I totally agree. All right. If you want me to answer your chats on TikTok, send me a rose. I'm going through a lot. I think I'm caught up. If I'm not, yell at me, but I'm going to give away a freebie here. Let's see. A lot of people getting back with Panda. A lot of people talking on the chat. I love to see that. And don't forget, on TikTok, I go live Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday or Saturday nights, or sometimes. Oh, Bentley sent me some roses. Thank you, Bentley. I'll get to your question in a second. Friday or Saturday night. I'd like to go live before the kickoff tomorrow, although I don't think, Nathaniel, I got to take Zoe to the airport. She was in town for fall break. Thank you, Panda, for the roses. But I will be live streaming during the games, the early games towards the second half and the start of the 4 o'clock games on the East Coast, or 3 o'clock games my time since I'm Central. All right. Panda, no, I have Vikings and Pack. Okay, I already answered that. I'm just going through, checking out Justin Fields or Daniels. Okay, I'm way behind on here. Panda sent a rose. Scruggs sent the rose. If you send me a rose on TikTok, I will definitely answer your question. I answer Nathaniel's because he's my counterpart on YouTube. He's my buddy. Nathaniel, you still do your show? Giovanni Rico, thanks for joining. I know I've gotten Bentley. I got a rose from you, but I'm not seeing a question. Did I answer something? Is that why I got a rose? All right. What else does Nathaniel say? I might be getting TikTok on my dad's phone to watch your shows. Okay, well, that's great. I'd love to have you on here. I'll make you a moderator too. It doesn't really ever get bad, but that would be cool. It's much harder for everybody watching. It's much harder for me. It's more annoying on TikTok because I have to do it on my phone because I have an Apple computer, and TikTok's, let's call it, computer software only works with Microsoft computers and not Apple's, so it's really a pain in the rear. Panda, okay. Send me a rose. The roses are like a penny or 2 pennies. So if you send me a penny on TikTok, I read your question and I try to answer it. And I think you get 100 roses for $1, or maybe it's $2 you get 100. It's either a penny or 2 pennies for a rose. So I'm not asking anyone to go hungry tonight or anything like that. So, all right. Any other questions from? Okay, I'm going to pick a freebie on TikTok. Let's see. I'm going to go with a more recent one. Oh, we have people in the chat talking. Wilver asks, Love or Daniels? Great question. And the reason why is I've been telling people a lot. Green Bay is playing the Rams. Rams have a bad defense. They're a bad team, and they have a bad defense. However, Daniels is up against Cleveland, and Daniels has been putting up bigger numbers. So, what I think could happen with the Rams and the Green Bay Packers is the Packers could be up 24-0, 24-3, and then they sort of, put their brakes on a little bit, or they're up 31-0 and they take their starters out. That's my fear, because the Rams have such a bad, their offense is really Kyren Williams, the running back. So if they stack the box, he's not going to get a lot of yards. They have people that can catch the ball, but Kupp's hurt. Puka's still out. They don't have someone like a Jennings, like the 49ers did, that could move into a 1 or 2 and get 170 yards. So, all right, Giants fan, I see you're talking with a lot of people in chat, so go ahead. Let's see. Agier. Okay, State, BT, Jan. Geo, Jaden Reed or Jamar Chase? Well, that goes back to what I was just saying. Since Reed, it's a matchup thing here, and I would go with Reed just based on the fact that he had 23 points with Love back last week, and they're playing the Rams. That's why I would go with Reed over Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase has put up good numbers, but they're playing Baltimore a little bit better defense. They're not like they used to be, where they were the class of the NFL when it came to defense, but, they're a little bit better. So, my buddy Nathaniel's thinking about getting a 64-degree wedge for Christmas Hanukkah. Well, it's not a bad idea. You can get, the flop. It helps all over around the greens. If you want to learn to use it out of a sand trap, you can. It's really good if you're close, obviously, or you have a high lip. So that's a good idea. I hope you're practicing on the golf swings I talked about. All right. So on TikTok, follow me, please. I go live Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights, Thursday nights. I like to go live either Friday or Saturday. I think one weekend I did both. I'm going to try to go live before the games on Sunday, although tomorrow I don't think I'm going to be able to. I will be live on YouTube and TikTok in the second half of the first games and the first half of the second games, or somewhere about there. So follow me on TikTok, please, right now, for the 10 people it looks like that are out there, because I'm going up and down all night. But follow me, like this. If you're on YouTube, please like. Oh, D's nuts. Bro, no one is watching. Thanks, man. You're awesome. You are positive and banned. Thank you, though. All right. So I'm probably going to wind it down for the night. It's 9:00 my time. So, Nathaniel, don't worry about making the shows. Do what you got to do, okay? Don't worry about it. It's no big deal. All right. So I will try to I'll be on tomorrow, but it might not be before the games. Please follow, please like on TikTok, and I will talk to you all tomorrow. Take care. Thank you, Trix. You take care too. Please subscribe, Trix. Take care. I gotta shut everything off. You guys still there? I shut down TikToks, but I haven't shut down YouTube. All right. Talk to you guys later. I'll be on live tomorrow. Don't worry about it, Nathaniel.